Welcome to the Darkstream, Voxday, voxday.blogspot.com, and, of course, unauthorized.tv. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And the theme for tonight is there is winning and there is crushing. Jerome asks, are we crushing? You absolutely are crushing. The big bear is crushing. You know, I'm very pleased to be able to announce straight from the big bear's mouth that the You're Doing Great Kid tour of 2019 is 100% sold out. All the venue tickets sold out. All of the VIPs sold out. The only thing that is not sold out yet are the limited edition collector's DVDs. There's still like 100 something of those, but you know, that's not important. That's not integral to the tour. It was kind of funny. I don't think most of you can necessarily understand how big a deal this is in light of the obstacles that Owen faced and that were presented not just to him but also to us in terms of, you know, what we were trying to do. I mean, we literally talked to people everywhere from Hong Kong to Silicon Valley, trying to arrange the various components and put them together in a way that would work. And you know, even one of our planned backups didn't work out, not because of any antipathy. You know, this is in fact is someone that we're working very closely with, but just because they weren't ready yet. They just weren't ready. Take it easy, Vlad Tiger. Just more than happy to have you on board as a viewer and subscriber. I mean, as a viewer and supporter. You know, if you can subscribe, great. If you can't afford it, don't even worry about it. You know, there are many, many ways to be a part of this. Many, many ways to support it, and you know, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. In fact, one of the things that Owen and I were talking about tonight, now that we seem to have this first level established. Welcome, Slanty Chauffeur Bear. And again, a reminder, the usual reminder to all the new members, make sure you send me an email if you want the notifications before the stream. I don't get your email address just from you becoming a member. You need to email me and confirm it so that I have the address, etc. I am on early. I was just sitting around watching the Vikings game, and it occurred to me that it is Sunday, and so didn't seem to be any reason to sit around and do make work for an hour. I thought, you know, let's just hop on and do this. Let's be a little spontaneous for once. And I even managed to get the notifications out ahead of time, so it's all good. But yes, my normal time is 7 p.m. Eastern. It not infrequently gets pushed back to 7:30, but we do it at other times occasionally too. Go Pack, go. Butcher Bear says, the respect I have for Owen going through the trials he and his family have had to face is huge. Many weaker men would have folded long ago. That's exactly true. And that's why he's such a good role model for younger men, because he's demonstrating what it is to refuse to live in fear, even when you face negative consequences. Now, obviously, I've done much the same. Uh, you know, although I would say that the quote unquote trials and tribulations I've been through have not been anywhere nearly as difficult as Owen's. You know, getting kicked out or getting going through the charade of the SFWA pretending to kick me out was nothing. It didn't harm me in the slightest. It didn't cost me a single dollar. Getting blackballed by Hollywood cost him considerably. And so, it's one of those things that, you just have to face the social pressure or give into it. But the problem with giving into it is that it doesn't protect you at all. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be eaten last. In fact, quite the opposite. When you demonstrate weakness, they tend to put you higher on the priority list because they know you're a soft target. Now, don't get me wrong. They will continue to come after Owen. They will continue to come after me in a variety of ways. We know this. If nothing else, the clueless SJWs who have no idea how many other people have taken a shot at us and so forth, they have no idea what's happened in the past. We see trolls and gammas and SJWs all the time. They continue coming out with this and coming out with this and coming after us. Greg James Beam is right. The war never ends. Like it says in the Bible, you've got to keep running the race. The race doesn't end until your life is over. So it's important to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is not a single battle, but it is a generational and existential war. And, every single day you need to get out of bed, look in the mirror and say, today I'm going to meet the conflict, today I'm going to embrace the conflict, and today I'm going to beat the conflict. And on the days when you're just too tired for that kind of stuff, stay off the internet. Stay out of it. Take it easy. Relax. Recharge your batteries. Read a good book. I was going to kick back, lie down on my couch, read a good book by Arturo Perez Reverte, and I ended up reading about 20, 30 pages and falling asleep. Now I don't take a lot of naps during the day, but it was my body's way of saying, dude, chill out, relax, take it easy. So there's going to be times when you need to rest, but you rest in the knowledge that you're going back in the game. You're going back in the game and you're going back in to play and play hard. And, you don't have to be the hero. I was so angry watching the Vikings game tonight because there's this great Peanuts cartoon by Charlie Brown. I'm with Umberto Eco. I think that Charles Schulz is one of the great philosophers, if not the great philosopher of the 20th century. Peanuts taken as a whole is one of the greatest artistic and philosophical works of the 20th century. It may sound crazy, but that's what I think. That's what Umberto Eco thinks. And there's this great cartoon where Charlie Brown is on third base. There's 2 outs. and their best batter, presumably Snoopy, is at the plate. And, all he needs to do, it's a tie game, or I think they're down by 1 run. So, and it's like they've never won any games. So they've got a chance to win it or tie it. And the two of the girls, Lucy and one of the other girls, I think Violet, are talking about, the situation and how they've actually got a chance to win it. And all that it requires is that Charlie Brown not do anything stupid, like try to steal home plate. And then the very next panel, Schultz has Charlie Brown standing at third base thinking, what if I steal home? If I steal home, I can be the hero. And then he thinks better of it. Thinks, no, I should just stay here on base and wait to get batted in and all this sort of thing. And so but then his desire to be the hero overcomes his good sense. And he tries to steal home. And of course, everyone's like, oh no, he's trying to steal home. Sure enough, he gets thrown out. And he's sitting there for the next few panels. They're going on, him just sitting there. Why did I do that? Why did I do something that I know was stupid? And that's something a lot of us ask. Why do we do something that we know was totally stupid? And that's what I think Kirk Cousins, the very expensive quarterback, was asking himself tonight. Why did I do that? It's 1st and goal on the 8. You're running over the other team. Both your running backs are just gashing a tired Packers defense. You've got 4 downs to run it in, and Cook is averaging more than 8 yards a carry. There's virtually no doubt that they can just slam it into the line 4 times and score. Now they call a play action pass. Not a bad idea in the circumstances, but the first 2 options are covered. So what do? You throw it away. You got 3 more downs, no problem. But Kirk Cousins, the Charlie Brown quarterback, has to play the hero. He has to try to be the hero. And so he throws a off-balance, under pressure pass to a double-covered Stephon Diggs in the corner of the end zone. Interception. And that's what really lost them the game. No one play ever costs an entire game, but at that critical juncture, that was it. Why does somebody who has been playing football as long as Kirk Cousins, who's as smart as Kirk Cousins is relatively intelligent even for a quarterback, why does he do that? Because he wanted to be the hero. He was trying to be the hero. And whether you're Charlie Brown on third base in the bottom of the 9th, whether you are Kirk Cousins on 1st and goal in the 4th quarter, you don't do that. You don't need to play the hero. And that's something that we need to remember in this cultural war struggle ourselves. Don't try to be the hero. Be consistent. Be resistant and be persistent. That's more important. That will get you much farther. We're not going to get a lot of accolades. I get praise from you guys, and I appreciate that. But for every individual praising me, there's probably 2 or 3 condemning me on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere from the New Zealand Herald to the Guardian. the New Republic. They're all just going off on how terrible and awful and whatever. And so if you are trying to be the hero, if you're trying to be popular, it's going to fail because you're going to have to compromise. You're not going to win over the praise when if you speak the truth, because right now the liars are in the ascendant. The people of the lie are controlling an awful lot of the social infrastructure that we encounter in our daily lives. And so, when you start worrying about your popularity, when you start worrying about people liking you, when you start trying to be the hero, that's when the deceit and the temptation enters in. Jilly Bear says, Shapiro calling you a white supremacist was despicable. I mean, maybe it was and maybe it wasn't, but it was definitely a lie. She says, gosh, he is just an awful human being and a liar. He is a liar. In fact, more than being a liar, he's really just an actor. He's playing a part. He's a propagandist, and the part that he plays is the whip-smart political commentator. He's not that smart. He's not that well-read, and he's not honest. But he has a role to play, and there's a lot of people who buy into that role and believe it. So, Bruins Bear said, Vox told that guy in the beginning not to worry about subscribing or giving money if you don't have the means. Imagine Ben Shapiro telling someone that. Yeah, it's probably not his style. But the thing is, it's more important that people are part of what we're doing here than, we have X amount of money. The money matters. Absolutely it matters, because that's what allows us to, fund the bandwidth, make the movies, print the comics, republish the classics. All of those things require, the funding for it. But, one step at a time. It's just part of it. Hang on a second. One of the things that I like about our current system is that we have to earn our subscribers every single month. Every single month, you guys who subscribe have the option to stop. You're not locked in. Welcome, Carolina Swamp Fox Bear. And that's true of the channel members too. Every single month, you have the option to stop, to opt out. But we have to continue to earn your interest. We have to continue to earn your support. And that's useful because it focuses us. It reminds us that we need to focus on our core audience. What is so poisonous about the corporate cancer that the SJWs represent is that they're constantly focused on growth. They're constantly focused on either money or on increased eyeballs. So they're constantly focused on growing. And what that means is that they can't focus on their core audience. They're constantly focusing on people who are not their audience. And so when you chase an audience that you don't already have, you are not serving the interests of your core. And so that's a mistake that we're not going to make. We will continue to listen to you guys. Right now, people have been saying, hey, we want the apps. That's what we've been working on. That's what's coming next. Another thing, here's something else you can do, and we have a goal. Big Bear is tweeting this out. But how many of you are upset with Wikipedia or dislike Wikipedia for some reason or find Wikipedia politically unreliable? Just, just say yes if you have, no if you haven't. I mean, how many people would really like to see some sort of alternative? Right. Everybody knows Wikipedia is biased. You can't read a column about by a conservative commentator or a conservative public figure mentioning Wikipedia where he doesn't complain about Wikipedia's description of him. I've seen it, Big Bear's seen it, you've all seen it. Now here's the problem. Obviously you know that we built this alternative called Infogalactic. It is better, although it doesn't have enough independent edits. We want more independent edits, but at least it's there, right? At least those of us who are public figures have the opportunity to modify their own page. Honest people can modify it without admins jumping in and banning them. But one of the problems is it's very hard to remember to go to it and use it. Yeah, Bink says, I keep forgetting Infogalactic. That's true. That's the problem. The other problem is that most people go to Wikipedia automatically. And what I mean by that is they just click on a link and it takes them to Wikipedia, right? So anyhow, thanks to the technology guys, we have an excellent alternative. It's called Transporter. And this is for everybody who has either Chrome or Brave as their browser. And what Transporter does is when you have it installed as an extension on your browser, which is very easy to do, you go there and it's a single click. One click, it's installed on your Brave browser, which I recommend over Chrome. Or if you use Chrome, you do that. But here's where it's brilliant. What it does is it automatically changes every Wikipedia link and it redirects you to Infogalactic. So for example, if you do it, it does transport. So if you do a search for the Minnesota Vikings on Wikipedia and it brings up a link to Wikipedia, if you click on that link and Transporter is installed in your browser, you will not go to Wikipedia, you will go directly to Infogalactic. And the other thing that's significant is that I don't believe we have one for Firefox yet, but you shouldn't be using Firefox anyhow because Firefox is in the process of installing some stuff that's very, very bad. Megabuster Shepard is correct. More people are interested in complaining than finding a solution. That's true. But, one step at a time. What we were talking about before. Don't be the hero. You're not going to win every single time, but you can take a step forward, a step towards winning every step you take. And so we have a goal of reaching 1,000 installations. There were 600 installations when we started this. And so it'll be interesting to see how many there are by the time we end this. By the time we end this, but it's very, very useful, and I think that you'll find that it significantly improves your experience with, on the internet. The other thing that we recommend, or the other thing that's useful about Infogalactic, is that there has we have what we call a verified page. And a verified page is something that only the subject of the page is allowed to use. Is allowed to edit. So for example, the Vox Day verified page on Infogalactic, I'm the only one who's allowed to edit it. Now you could say, well, but this could, they could say things that aren't true. That's true, they could. But the other page, the main page about them, if there's conflict between those two pages, that in and of itself will tell you something. Somebody's lying. Somebody's not telling the truth. And so, without exaggerating, every single right of center individual should be using Infogalactic, using the transporter extension, and encouraging all of their supporters to do the same. There's no reason to use the tools of the enemy when you don't have to. Sometimes it does make sense. I'm using YouTube right now. Can we add on mobile? I have no idea. I don't do a lot of mobile surfing and so forth. I don't think I've ever been on either Wikipedia or Infogalactic on my phone. But this is just one example of the things that we can do. Transporter is not in the Play Store because it's just an extension to a browser. Here, I'll post the link again. It's on the Chrome Web Store. Apparently it does not. Okay, extensions do not work on mobile, so no. About the economics of video that we didn't know at first. And so while we will get there eventually, that would not be a good idea at the moment. So anyhow, but transporter is something that one of the Dread Ilk did. It was just something that somebody did voluntarily. We didn't tell them to do that. But it's an example of how we listen to the community. How do you get a verified page? Well, if you're somebody who has a page about you on Wikipedia, then just email info@infogalactic.com. Provide the link to the Wikipedia page, and we'll arrange to get you a verified version of the same page on Infogalactic. So, we're not trying to become Facebook here. It's not. Yeah, then do what I said. We're not trying to become Facebook here. We're not trying to create this stuff for everybody. Whitman, Price, and Haddad. Owen will have fallen out with you by this time next year, 100%. Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? Of course, I've had people tell me that about Milo. I had people tell me that about Cerno. I'm actually pretty good at selecting my friends and allies. No, let's not ban him. He made a prediction. We'll see, in a year, Whitman, stop back and go ahead and let us know what you think. People make a call, and that's fine. Whitman Price says, I hope not. Like I said, stop back in a year. If you are right, I will congratulate you for your perspicacity. If you're not, I'll point out that you were wrong and I'll explain why. No, Shinzoku, if you've got an off-topic, well, you can just, first of all, do a super chat and I will definitely answer it, or just go ahead and throw it in, and if I see it, there's a decent chance I'll answer it. Um, can you speak slower? I might be able to speak even slower. Maybe that will help you understand. Um, let's see here. We just don't know where we're going to be, and we don't know what people are going to do. Now, I very much doubt that I will fall out with Owen, but I've had people fall out with me before. You know, I've had people just reach a point where their disagreements with me were too great for them to emotionally handle anymore. Um, I was very disappointed when Tom Kratman insisted on trying to publicly debate me about something, because I knew the outcome was going to be bad. And, he was so upset by the outcome of the debate that he no longer wanted us to publish his books. C'est la vie. Seabear D. Oil says, if you fell out with BB, you would lose over half your audience. No, that's not true. That's not true at all, because most of my audience is not bears. All you need to do is look at the number of subscribers I had before I met Owen. I mean, you understand, this is not my primary medium. My blog gets 100,000 page views a day, and it has for the last 2 years. I mean, that's what's kind of funny when people say, when people think that the bears are a primary audience of mine. You understand that almost none of you read my blog, and a lot of you don't even know most of my books. I mean, some of you, and I appreciate it, have read SJWs Always Lie, have maybe read A Throne of Bones. A few have picked up Alt Hero and have been kind enough to say nice things about that, and that's great. But remember, the video audience is very, very different than the literary audience. The video audience is much, much bigger. And so when you keep in mind that I've been a nationally syndicated columnist since 1994, 1995, I'm not concerned about being a successful YouTuber, right? So, because Stefan's doing other stuff, it's fine. I mean, Cernovich and I still talk on a reasonably regular basis, not about anything in particular, because what he's doing is so completely different than what I'm doing. There's really nothing to discuss on a working relationship, but we still talk. We still talk with on a personal level. We're still friends. And so, now, why do people want to see people fail? Why do they want to, see internet drama and so forth? It's because they're human. They want to see Owen and I have public differences of opinion for the same reason that people want to see two girls get in an argument at a party. You know, but like I said, we are way too busy crushing, way too busy taking one positive step after another to have any time or desire for that kind of drama. You know, Eaglet Bear, I was just explaining why would anyone feel the need to try to stir the pot between Vox and Owen? For the same reason that people try to create drama in high school, in junior high. That's what they do. That's, you know, some people like to try to create drama. So it doesn't matter. You know, I had people trying to create drama between me and, you know, other athletes and other popular people when I was in high school. I didn't pay any attention to it then either. You know, did you hear what Becky said about Jenny? Eaglet Bear says, but why come to your channel to do that? Because it's totally ineffectual everywhere else. This is like a last ditch attempt. You know, I have literally no idea what people. You know, somebody like Ben Shapiro said something about me on 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 Fox News or something. You know, that's at least moderately relevant. But this is hilarious. Tom Forsyth says, "You know who doesn't like to create drama? Whoever made the final season of Game of Thrones." Definitely the comment of the week. That's hilarious. Let's see. Jeff Goodley says, speaking of people who've read the books, recently finished A Throne of Bones and A Sea of Skulls. Love them. Left 5-star reviews on Amazon. Eagerly awaiting the continuation of the story. Well, I'm working on it slowly, one step at a time. One step at a time. Diggs1 says, I've noticed a pattern. Traditional big families in the U.S. are Christian, but in Western Europe they're pagan or pagan leaning. Why? Oh yeah, let's get rid of. That's funny. I actually kind of find it moderately amusing at this point when people are trying to claim that unauthorized is a scam. I mean, it's it's blatantly not. There's literally no one who's involved with the thing in any way, shape, or form who credits that in the slightest. Yeah, let's get to the super chats now. Try and Speak says, I've said before, but want to put a punctuation mark on my journey. I was baptized yesterday. I am now an Orthodox Christian. Thank you for the bottom of my heart for your role in that. God bless you and your family. Well, God bless you on your journey. I'm very pleased to hear that. And, you know, just remember that when the fire of the convert dies down a bit, you know, that's when you just need to rely upon the truth. Sir Fender Jazzmaster says, no one is having more fun. Jesus Christ is Lord. Indeed. Lucky Jack says, I'm halfway through Watership Down. Thanks for the recommendation. You're obviously a fast reader then, but you're very welcome. It's a great book. Thomas W. says, when do you think Europeans will commence the Reconquista 2.0 from the invaders? Around the time the USA breaks up? Well, yes, because the USA probably has to break up before that can happen because the US is propping up the anti-nationalist forces across Europe. You know, they're actively engaged in trying to stop them. You know, Sir Jazzmaster said, thoughts on Engram Enneagram personality numbers. Never heard of them, so no thoughts. Sorry. Hans Laga says, your advice is really poignant for us who work at corporations. You can't beat that system. That's true. But you can be a positive influence on your immediate coworkers in a way the system cannot reach. It is true. You know, you're not going to tear down the entire corporate system by yourself. It's not possible. But you can be a indigestible lump in the belly of the beast. Hans adds, for me, I work like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego as a wage slave, and like them, the line I won't cross is worshiping a false god. Right, and what you'll find is that the fires won't touch you. You know, they depend upon people who are not like them to make the system work. David Lorenzen says, would you ever consider tutoring young talents to be next generation Dark Lords? No, I don't tutor. You know, I've done several teaching classes on game design. You know, I'm not a teacher. I'm an observer. And, you know, in the same way that the best athletes make the worst coaches because they don't necessarily understand what they do, you know, the natural cannot explain what he does for the most part. You know, when you ask a successful, handsome guy how to, you know, how to attract women, you know, he'll say, be yourself, smile at them. You know, and it kind of leaves out the whole also be 6'3", handsome, self-confident, blah, blah, blah. Because he doesn't know it. That's just part of who he is. It's like asking a fish to explain how to swim. And, you know, there, what goes into my having been, you know, declared a Dark Lord and so forth, a lot of that is just so natural and intrinsic to me that I couldn't possibly explain, you know, what to do. And besides, how would it be useful? Okay, the first thing you should do is try to become a social outcast from kindergarten until about 8th grade. But make sure that you're still that you still don't lack any self-confidence. I mean, that's not as contradictory as it sounds, but it is pretty contradictory for the average individual. Yeah. Also, do you think you've written your best book yet? No, I don't. I actually harbor some literary goals that go well beyond nonfiction and genre fiction. My goal is to write my next literary goal is to write something in what, for lack of a better term, might be called a Murakami style literary novel called well, I'm not going to mention what I call it, but and I think that would be generally considered to be a better book than anything I've written yet. But maybe I'm deluding myself. We'll see. Callan Patmore sends to Canadian. Thanks, eh? Sendo Stone Mason Bear says, God bless Vox. I'll watch your streams either way. Have a good Sunday. You too. Callan Patmore says, my professor says IQ tests aren't reliable because they are geared towards white people in Western civilization. He's wrong. Is there weight to this argument? No. What are the arguments for and against IQ tests? The main arguments against them, the legitimate ones, are that they were designed to measure inferior minds. And so simply, if you're measuring something that is a deficiency, then the fact that you can also measure a sufficiency doesn't necessarily prove anything. That would be, for lack of a better term, that would be described as the Taleb approach. I don't think that's correct, but that's the one argument that I would take seriously. But they've done an excellent job of removing cultural biases and even language from it. And the thing the funny thing is that there's good reason to believe that something as simple as reflex measurement tests are in and of themselves intrinsic IQ tests, in which case it'd be impossible for them to be geared towards anyone. So anyhow, Baron von Blair says, thanks for the new word perspicacity. You should always look up, if I use a word that you're not familiar with, you should always look it up because there's a decent chance that I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. One of the downsides of speaking multiple languages and learning most of your words from reading is that you often don't describe them, or you don't pronounce them correctly. Virgil Hill says, thanks, Vox. Asparagus Bear, you definitely are new here. I do not answer questions like that. So, don't ask me questions about my private life. Don't ask me questions about my family. I'm not offended. I just flat out don't answer those sorts of questions. Are there any godly beings at all in the psychedelic realm? I don't believe so. I don't know if it's just demons. There are other forms of spirits too, but I don't believe so. I would stay away from it. When they talk about opening your mind, I think that the first question you should ask is, to what or to whom are you opening it? Thomas W. says, is Hegel's philosophy good or no? No, it's not. German philosophy, as a general rule, is pretty horrific. Kyle says, I've had positive experiences. Do you think they were deceptions? No, I think that your idea of what is positive is irrelevant. Plenty of people have had positive experiences with prostitutes. That doesn't make them genuinely positive. Dragonkin says, Vox mispronounces all the time talking about something. I don't want to be corrected because it breaks a train of thought. Let's see. Vox, could you recommend me a book or series of books that explains the history between Christianity and science? No, because I don't think I've ever actually read one. How much does the right have to learn from the incremental successes of the left over the past 50 years? I feel we have to embrace incremental success. Well, no, I don't think we have too much to learn. I mean, I think there are some things to learn. For example, if a tactic is used, it's legitimate. The idea that we can't use a tactic they use because then we're just like them. No, it's not true. That's totally illogical. A tactic does not define your objectives. So in that sense, I would agree with you, but they have to operate incrementally because they don't dare say openly what they want to do. Look at the reaction to Beto finally coming out and saying what everybody knows about every Democratic candidate of the last 40 years. They all want to take Americans' guns away. They always have. But they always lied about it until now. That's why they have to be so incremental. I agree with Bink's Web Elf here. The biggest success of the left is keep showing up and showing up and showing up. Exactly. About not offending people. The left doesn't care about offending people, so it's not going to work. Arc Logos, yeah, I was referring to that too. I briefly reviewed Taleb's IQ argument. His argument that IQ becomes less predictive of intelligence as score increases was most compelling. Maybe. I mean, yeah, I didn't find that very convincing, but I can at least see where he was coming from. Leo Key and says, in Jung's and Tolkien's Red Books, they both met a woman deep in their psyche search. What do you think they found? I think they found their imagination. When you're digging into your own navel, whatever, all you're going to find is lint. There's nothing there. When you dive into your own psyche, there's nothing there. Midnight Sun 300 says socialism is communism. Yeah, that's one of the things I get frustrated by. A lot of people think that socialism is like a gentler form of communism, and they don't seem to understand that socialism is the economic system, communism is the political party and system. So they're actually two sides of the same coin. Is Owen ever doing a UK gig? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. It's naval, like Navy, okay. Have you ever been to the pub in Oxford where J.R.R. Tolkien wrote and drank? Yes. The Eagle and something. Is my AVI showing next to my name? No. Andre Dawson, briefly, how does Jordan Peterson misconstrue logos? Completely. There is no aspect of it that he correctly describes. Eagle and child, that's it, yeah. Bearmite says transporter up and running. First look at Owen's page. It needs adding as of 2019. So add it. We gave you Infogalactic. Do with it what you will. Make it better. Use it. We can't tell you what to think. We can only give you the tools. Virgil Hilt says, have you ever had to make a comeback from a bad illness on your spiritual quest? I don't even know what that means. Any pointers for someone who is? I got nailed hard this time. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what falls within the limits exactly. Did they announce the location of the Portland show? I don't believe so. Do you have an estimated release date for the tour documentary? I believe it's going to take about a month. That'd be my guess. So, all right. Well, that covers it for tonight. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate it that you're all, so many of you have given Transporter a go. Let me... Yeah, probably War and Peace. That would be one of my. Just sign up, same way you sign up for Wikipedia. Anyhow, have a good evening. And if you haven't subscribed to Unauthorized, please consider doing so. If you've become a channel member, make sure you send me an email address for your notifications. And we'll look forward to seeing you most likely tomorrow night. On that note, this is the Darkstream. I'm Vox Day.